fun one. We get it here. Are we fine? I was going to say the calm thing. Are we
Fingers
finally
crossed.
going to see the... Yes.
It's there! It's there! We made it! I'm coughing for joy right now.
Third time's the charm. We get the Orianna pickup as we are going to get into game 4 of the night. Is this first ever we've had a 4th game?
It is. It is. We finally got it. Like, it's right here in front of us. I can look. Hey
what a
there,
momentous
Sydney.
occasion.
That's a nice team comp you got. You made it.
You made it. Oh boy, we're finally going to get in here. Looking at these lanes, you know, as much as USYD has played incredibly well in this tournament, there are some lanes that I'm looking a bit scary about. You know, especially that mid lane. I think that Victor and that Trundle could be doing some damage.
All the lanes actually are a little bit spooky for Sydney. I mean, it's looking like 3 losing lanes, and it makes me nervous. It puts so much pressure on a Zac jungle who doesn't have the fastest clear already. It's like, this could be the best chance Griffith has to pull off an amazing upset. And if they pull this upset off here, I mean, the implications moving further, not only does that mean Swinburne is our new #1 team, but all those other teams that are kind of like assuming like, okay, you know, Sydney's not an issue. We need to worry about those other, you know, 3rd to 6th place teams. Well, Griffith is the team that kind of gets that extra leg up, and they have that extra bit of an advantage. They win this, you know, they're sitting 2-2, but they've got some of their toughest opponents out of the way. They could be making that late season run and getting into that playoff. So this is a great opportunity for Griffith, one that they cannot afford to let slip through their fingers, and it's going to be a fun one to watch. A lot of tension, a lot of suspense. Cards are picking Griffith, and I'm almost switching sides, but I got to stick with my initial gut pick. I'm still leaning towards Sydney, and I'm going to put my vote in that poll right now.
You know, I've got to respect the. You know, I did actually put my vote in already for USYD, unfortunately, but I'm almost tempted to change as well, and I think I am going to change for Griffith here. I think that Griffith has the potential here to really cause an upset, and like I said earlier today, I do love an upset story. So, you know, I'm going to go for Griffith here. I think that if they can get that, they can get the win over USYD, that's going to be a tournament-changing victory.
Yeah, that's just it. I think that's the best way to put it. Tournament-changing, because the entire complexion of this tournament and how we see it could be flipped on its head. Granted, this isn't USYD at its full strength. This is USYD throwing 5 bans for their coach who wanted to prioritize the Malphite. That is what we're up against. And let's look at the flip side. What happens if Sydney wins doing this? What does that say about the rest of the teams and their chances against the squad?
Well, it says that they should continue to ban 5 top and just put Zoranis somewhere else.
On a different team.
Put him on. He can be the new sub. He can be the coach.
Hey, maybe, you know, UUT, they haven't won a game yet. Maybe they could use him. Oh, that's burn. But moving forward, though, like, it's definitely a bit unconventional, but it's going to be a fun one to end the night. That's why I love having those Sydney games left. They're always something special, something different, from top lane volley bears to 5 top bans and the coach running a Maokai. We are on the Rift. It is going to be a safe line of scrimmage start. Griffith University, again, cards are in their hands. I feel like they have the best opportunity to take down this undefeated Goliath in this tournament. That said, fan vote, well, it kind of went pretty heavy in favor of Sydney, 75 to 25%. Griffith, you know, still not a lot of faith behind them, but they might be able to do it just yet.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think this could be the potential upset story that changes the tournament and might maybe, you know, turn some people's minds towards the fact that, hey, you know, USYD, they have a star-studded lineup, but they might not be, you know, the be-all, end-all team in this tournament, and that other unis are here to play. So I think that's going to be really important, is to see how this game goes, especially the early jungle pathing and where those first bloods and those team fights break out early.
I mean, we've already seen a ward get placed on the red side of the map, courtesy of one Katu. Now, he did walk over a ward to do it, so that does mean Ubisoft will be aware. I'm curious how he's going to play around it, as they did sort of fake, actually, the start, you know, each sort of top and bot lane, pretending like they were going ahead and giving a bit of a leash right there. However, judging by health bars, it should be pretty easy to tell, okay, hold on, that was a bot side start, or was it actually? They did come into lane healthy, so definitely committing to the disguise in this one is USYD. Yeah,
no, they've really committed to the fact that, hey, this is a potential, look at That damage already. Sorry, the Flay auto attack does so much damage early. If you can get that off into the Flay, into the double up auto from MF, you are, and as we saw, just going to get absolutely shredded. Level 2, I think Griffith have a very dangerous kill potential if USYD aren't careful.
Yeah, if that death sentence is going to be able to connect, and that's it as well. Already, the tracking actually not on point for Ubisoft. He's question mark pinging the wrong buff, as you can see. Tribush being warded right there for Pharaoh, and a lot of emphasis from Griffith is being placed on tracking Ubisoft on the Zac. I think they are completely aware, hold up, we should have, 3 lanes mostly going our way. As long as we can make sure we know where Ubisoft is at any given moment, we should be able to push our advantages and really look to punish on that regards. As still hanging around up top is Pharaoh, actually, as he's spent a lot of time up there, and as a result, Ubisoft is, continuing to clear, continuing to scale. Maybe a little bit of a misstep. He was expecting an earlier play from Ubisoft, apparently, and that's not going to be the case. Instead, he's going to beeline to this mid lane, and he's going to be caught out. Great Pillar of Filth, but not enough to really throw Zoot back, who steps forward. Elastic Slingshot going to connect on a Katu as well, and Zoot stepping up forward. A nice throwback. Katu's in a bit of trouble. One more auto might do it, but Pharaoh has rejoined the fight and is keeping Zoot stoned out. The pressure of the attack actually coming out of this trouble did a lot of damage.
Yeah, and that was actually really smart positioning and posturing by Zoot. Yeah, we're not going to get a kill bot lane yet, surely. Really smart positioning and posturing by Zoot there, following to chase the, following to chase Pharaoh there, baiting out Katu to walk up and take the Zac slingshot. So, really smart play there, nearly ending in a kill. We're still sitting at that 0-0 mark, as this game could go anywhere right now.
Yep, I mean, first gank made by Pharaoh wasn't quite successful. Sydney did return the favor. No summoners were burnt, however, so the game's pretty much remaining at this neutral stage at this point. Now, first dragon will be spawning in 40 seconds. It's a Mountain Drake. The next one will be Infernal. That is just known at this stage moving forward, as Death Sentence actually is able to connect on the forward, but Griffith, they might be a little bit cautious here because you have Ubisoft beelining straight towards that bot lane. Instead, he's not going to make the motion. He walked over the ward, so Griffith did fall back, and good vision stops another early gank attempt out of Sydney.
Yeah, and we've seen a bit of back and forth in this bot lane, but right now Griffith seem to have a lot of kill potential that, they're getting close but just not able to pull the trigger. So I think it's going to be a very explosive bot lane. When someone gets caught out, I think they're going to get caught out hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And that could be, the first scale really tipping in favor of whichever team is able to find it, considering how volatile really both these teams are. Sydney needs to stay safe. They need to scale Griffith. Well, they need to really start looking for plays and pushing forward their lead. They have a little bit more of a cushion at this stage, and with bot lane about to push in, maybe they might try and turn that into a dragon, but it's been super visioned up by Sydney, and they didn't really act fast enough to go for that cheeky early dragon. So not going to see anything too crazy just yet. Still a very neutral game, and that has to favor the Sydney side. Yeah,
right now, like we said, Sydney's going for a little more scaling. So I think they're perfectly okay with, stalling out dragons a little bit longer. If Griffith had managed to get that dragon early, they might be, a little bit scared about what could happen. They're not ready to try and fight that dragon, so they really don't want that to happen yet. We do have a Mountain Drake. You know what that means?
Yeah, I did bring that to people's attention. It's going to be Mountain, and it is going to be Infernal next.
Yeah, we already know. Like, we don't even need to mention it at this point, I think. I think the people know at home that, hey, we've got the Mountain, we're going to get the Infernal, we're going to get the Cloud Soul. Already knowing that we have the Cloud Soul coming, what team do you think is going to benefit most from this Cloud Soul?
Whichever team has the lead at the moment, it is one of those, win more dragons at times, as Ubisoft looking for perhaps a play on Katu. Shockwave comes through, and here comes the slingshot. It forces out the flash. Pharaoh's here to try and turn things around, but the Pillar of Filth instead throws Ubisoft away from that damaging tower. He's still quite low, but the passive is still available, as we saw that big Victor ultimate do damage, but not enough, and Zoot is able to find that first blood. Bot lane was roaming up for Griffith University. They won't be getting there in time.
That was a really good counter gank from Pharaoh there. Unfortunately not resulting in, the kill that they wanted. But if that Pillar of Filth was slightly further up the lane, that could have gone really badly for them, as that Victor ulti leaves Ubisoft on 1 HP, and we have a hook going in.
Yeah, Death Sentence does connect with the fall of a Flay. Thomas Shen actually has to flash to stay alive. Miniman was stepping forward, trying to get that damage down, and is now actually focusing on forward instead. And forward, you know, he's a healthy fish, so he's going to go ahead and use that gray health to heal back up. But this is dragging the attention of one Pharaoh. He will be spotted on that ward, and that does mean Thomas Shen should walk back, popping that health pot, and it's already gone. Heal and flash was used as well for Shen, and this is going to be a tight situation, and that actually could be the play that gives Dragon over to the Griffith University side.
Yeah, this Misfortune doing a lot of damage. Obviously, one of her key strengths is the double up. So getting that double up onto Thomas Shen has been landing several times so far and is just absolutely deleting that center from the map, which is not what you want to be having if you are USYD right now. You want to be getting the, starving center, obviously a high poke pick. As we do see Griffith here picking up the dragon, and we have the Infernal Souls, the Infernal Drake at second.
Yeah,
so we're 2/3 of the way there. We at this point, like we said, is there even do we even need to worry about it?
No, it's going to be Cloud Drake. We all know it as Miniman. Oh, just barely dodged, being rooted in place forward, still looking for the flank. Slingshot, meanwhile, is actually going to connect onto Pharaoh, and that's where a lot of damage from Sydney is going to go as forward was able to zone the rest away. Teleport coming through. It's a little bit too late and a little bit out of the fight. Miniman actually eaten by forward and thrown back into a bad situation. He will go down. They're going to give the kill over to Zoot as forward continues to work on ZY. Slingshot forces out the flash, but forward still might be looking for it. Here comes Rikai, but he doesn't actually do anything. It's all good for Sydney, though, as they find 4 kills.
Yeah, that is about as good as it could have gone for USYD right there. You've got 3 kills on your mid laner. Ubisoft managing to get the blue buff that was nearly stolen away, and Thomas Shen picking up the kill here. I think he almost wanted to get that second kill. If you watch, he doesn't attack, but I think they give it over to Zoot just to be safe. But
I just want to watch Ricky and all this. I don't think he got an assist for, the Twisted Advance or his ultimate at the end of it. So he teleported in and actually did not contribute. Meanwhile, more action happening down below as Miniman, for whatever reason, went back underneath the tower. Does pop Ubisoft's passive, but that bullet time was way too little too late, and it does look as like Ubisoft might come back to life. Forward doesn't have the mana to swallow him, but the tower aggro is more focused on minions instead, and ZY does not have the damage to bring him down. Meanwhile, on the opposite end of the match, that will be a Rift Herald going over to Pharaoh.
That was a beautiful Zac Q there, pulling Misfortune out of the Thresh Lantern, putting her out of position in an awkward position, as we see here the posturing is trying to...
Oh, okay. Realm Warp for Big Herc, trying to catch out Zood. Not going to find him, but is going to zone him away, so Rift Herald will be going Griffith's in fashion. But, yeah, I mean, look. Okay, Sydney, again, they're... Once more, that Ubisoft in the jungle, this time working more with Zoot as opposed to Rikai, is taking over the bot half of the map, which has usually been their weak side. However, the big story in the current MVP, Rikai, off that teleport, he did get himself an assist, and you have to think without the coach being down there, they wouldn't have those leadership or shot calling there in order to secure the 4 kills, which has given them the big advantage in this game.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, at the end of the day, Rikai might not be the most mechanical player on that team, but he obviously has some knowledge on the game. So, I'm sure he's making some good shot calling from the position of Maokai, and that's actually why he picked Maokai. He's picked such a simple champion. Oh,
Shockwave actually pulls him out of the Elastic Slingshot, but the damage from Zoot is a bit too much. The last auto will get the kill.
There we go.
Ubisoft did contribute with the Bomby Cinder in that, and that's how he was able to get that assist, which is the best way to contribute to some kills. Actually, it is now a full Cinder Hulk. But it's University of Sydney. We were a little worried before. We thought this could be that opening for Griffith. It doesn't look to be the case.
Yeah, and how we mentioned earlier that if Griffith wasn't ahead by that 20-minute mark, they're actually a lot further behind than they look. Yeah, it's getting to that point now where, hey, you needed that early game to go your way, down 6 kills and several thousand gold. So, it's not a good look for Griffith right now. Zoot is putting on a clinic on that Orianna.
Yeah, Zoot's doing amazing, but I have to go back to Ubisoft on this Zac. I mean, it could have been so easy for Ubisoft to actually have 4 kills already in this game, but he has been giving it over to Zoot on this Orianna, who might start one-shotting people if this game continues at the pace that it does. Obviously, we still have another minute before the Dragon comes up. The Rift Herald was already taken as well by one Pharaoh, and maybe that's a way for Griffith to start fighting back, but is looking so dire for him. Their only shining light is their strong side, that top side. Rise has been farming as another fight about to break through in the bot side. That sentence was nowhere near, as the elastic slingshot will just hold Miniman in place for Thomas Shen to blast straight on down the middle. Pharaoh has to flash defensively to get out. More pressure is going to be put on this tower. Udisoft, though, he doesn't just want the tower. He wants more kills. Here comes the shot. Is it? Nope, not going to taken. Joke's on us. Back to the tower we go. We want these plating. We want this gold, and we want to accelerate our lead on our scaling composition.
And beautiful positioning there from Udisoft, going for the lane gank, knowing that, hey, the tower's being pushed in. I have a feeling Pharaoh is going to try and counter gank this, and just absolutely shuts him down and gets another kill for the center, I believe that was. So right now this game is going incredibly well. Griffith has no control of their jungle in reality. Their red side jungle is completely on the side of USYD. So USYD in a very strong position right now, as they're going to take that crab and they're going to get ready for Dragon.
This looks like every single USYD game so far, just flipped. Instead of the top half being incredibly dominant, is the bot half right now. I mean, USYD, they already know top lane's going to win. They have Riquet up top. I mean, when the coach is playing, you just leave him on his own. You know he'll be fine. For Griffith University, Dragon is gone, and it's an ocean!
Oh.
No! The perfect night comes to a crashing halt, as the worst Dragon is going to be seen on the Rift.
Yeah, they teased us with a 4th straight game. It wasn't meant to be, though. Back to what we were saying with, things being flipped. That being said, you've got to give Ricky some respect, He hasn't lost the lane hard. We've spoken about this several times, about the idea of, of losing graciously. He knows that he can't beat Big Herc in the top lane purely based on champion pick and just micro play. But what he can do is play safe enough to stall Big Herc and try and let his team do what they need to do without giving him 37 kills in the top lane, like most low-level top laners seem to do. So, really good job by him to not throw away needless kills.
I mean, it's understanding, your strong side versus your weak side, and I feel like USYD has been the best team in that regards in playing to the map and where their strengths have been. And Rick, yes, he has lost the tower, but Big Herc has opted for that big scaling build. He's actually not going to be that relevant for another 10 minutes, I would think. I mean, he can still be relevant. I shouldn't say he's not going to be relevant at all, but it's going to be tougher for him to be relevant in that next 10 minutes or so. However, with how accelerated the bot side for USYD has become, it's actually going to be so hard for this Rise to do much in these team fights. As you can see, the map has now been flipped. USYD has thrown their strong side to the top side, and already they're just beating down these towers so fast. ZY is going to step up with Miniman. There's not much they can do, and they got to be careful right here. They can't afford to stick around for too long. Even though they might have some help with Pharaoh, they still would lose this fight.
Yeah, they already know. They've already tried the 3v3 bot lane before, and they lost hard, so you'd think they'd be a little more wary about going in for another 3v3.
Well, the bullet time has already been used, and Udisoft does not care. He's already on that back line. Pharaoh is going to throw him back in. There's the Zac passive pop. Zoot is on his way. Bakato is on seals. ZY might be the target. Has to flash defensively. Big shot coming from Thomas Shen. Does not get the kill on Miniman. And Zoot's actually in way too deep. Has to flash defensively. 3-man shockwave keeps him alive as he runs towards the blue base. Meanwhile, forward, he's trying to lick. He's trying to swipe. He's going to swallow up this that Trundle, but it's not going to be enough to get the kills. The Lantern pulled him to safety. Zoot was also found as well by one Katu, and that's a fight going in Griffith's fashion.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate mispositioning on the side of USYD. Maybe, biting off a little more they can chew. Unfortunately for Zoot, he got caught between the entirety of their team, still managing to land a 3-man shockwave. One of them, yes, in zones, but a big shockwave nonetheless. Unfortunately, not able to capitalize and finish the game off, finish the kill off. But
Forward just spat Pharaoh right into that lantern.
Yep. Yep. Right into the lantern. Like a good supports have good support. Feeling. So he knew that, hey, the support really wanted him to click the lantern. Let me give you a hand, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. So. Look, I mean, I'm wearing that Take the Lantern wristband, as I always do when casting this, and supports that universal frustration sometimes has to carry through. And it's like, look, if you're not going to grab this lantern, I'm going to force you to grab it, even if I'm on that other team. So good guy forward. Unfortunately for Sydney, perhaps not the play that they were looking for. They went in a little too deep, got a little too aggressive, wasn't expecting the entirety of Griffith to show up, and just like that, the lead's been cut into a little bit, only a 3K differential now. Rift Herald is being picked, though, by the Sydney side, and they could be making a play.
Yeah, I still think that USYD is in a very good position. I think it's an unfortunate fight that they shouldn't have taken, and potentially a little bit of greed, or at least being trapped. They were forced into a fight. Zoot way out of position there, had no real other option but to fight. As we have another fight going on with Katu.
Yeah. Udisoft and Katu going at it. Udisoft actually getting a good chunk of damage. Abyssal Forge does mean forward is here, but that's about all who's showing up right now, as in the opposite end of the map, you can see Rikai is backing, looking to possibly teleport into this fight. Or he's still sitting in Fountain, so we could be seeing that play. However, Sydney has pulled away from the Rift Herald. They're going back to mid lane, looking to now shove right there, because even though that fight before didn't go Sydney's way, they still have the advantage, and they still have those gold leads on the Senna, on the Orianna. The kills are where they want it to be, and you have to remember as well, Sydney, they're still looking to scale, so it's not as if, they're expecting to win a lot of these early fights.
Yeah, and something to take note of as well is Rick has just picked up his Abyssal Mask. He's got the finish, no magic resist boots. So currently Big Herc, Katu aren't going to be doing too much to him right now, so this is where we see those tanks starting to get very scary. So next fight we might see Rikai not take much damage at all, and that's a really scary thought for Griffith.
Oh, Slingshot, it's onto the blue buff as no one else is around, and so Udisoft's going to continue jungling and denying as much as he can from Griffith University, as Zoot's going to go ahead and keep split pushing on that top side. Teleport is available. Ocean Drake was quickly secured by Griffith. Again, Ocean Drake I kind of would have been stronger on the Sydney side, but because they're focusing more on top, they're content to let that one go for now, as Rikai has actually started jungling.
Yeah, he's just started, he's taken the Dota strat of... Oh, wow.
Oh, here's a pick play, as Miniman was actually able to find Udisoft and take him out, and Sydney losing yet another member, and perhaps, this early lead was a bit of a bait, as they're starting to get picked out time and time again.
Yeah, and it's not even that I think they're getting picked out. I think they're going just way too aggressive in ways that they don't need to go. We've already said, hey, if you get to the 25-30 minute mark and you're ahead, you're in a very good position. But that doesn't mean that Griffith still can't win, or still can't still can't punish really hard. So I think they need to respect that a lot more than they are. Yes, they still have Herald available, so that's going to come up very soon, and that's going to be a problem for them, for the side of Griffith. But I don't think they should say, hey, Griffith's out of this now, we can do what we want, we can run around the map. Because there's a lot of things that Griffith can do here, and the big purple worm is about to spawn. I doubt we're going to see anyone posture for it straight away, but hey, it's on the map. It's it's a threat.
I mean, if either team's going to do it, I do suspect it to be Sydney, as they still are sitting on that Rift Herald, and they can drop that in the lane and really establish that Baron pressure. However, with both teleports going to be available soon on that bot side, it still would be a risky play, and you want a little bit more of an advantage, I feel, before you start going for that. That advantage could come from a pick play, as Miniman's in a bit of trouble. Flay's not going to connect on anyone, but still forward, and Thomas Shen are going to back off, at least for now. Udisoft waiting in that bush, could be looking for a way into the fight. I don't think he's spotted until, the vision cone does get him. Katu is aware of where the Zac is. Zac will back off for now. A little bit of a swap, actually. As you can see, Rikai has joined his team now in the mid lane, and they have sent one Zoot down below. Maybe he can have better luck, perhaps, against this big Herc down there, as more positioning, more posturing. No one's looking to fight just yet, as yes, Baron is available, but that's such a big objective. Instead, it's more about jungle, it's more about vision, and it's more about lane pressure.
Yeah, I think USYD recognizes the fact that, hey, we are in no rush to take Baron. Griffith, if they can get Baron, they are going to be in a really good position and might be able to turn, turn things on their head. USYD is content with being able to,
Realm Warp defensively, actually, as Zoot nearly caught out Big Herc right there. You had Udisoft roaming down. I'm sorry to cut you off in that one, but interesting ultimate burnt.
Yeah. I don't think it's a massive ultimate burnt. it's good for getting the team in and out of places, but I don't think that it being burnt before, you know, a Dragon or before Baron is the biggest of deals, but...
Ooh, ZY, good play, stops getting hit from the elastic slingshot, but that said, University City still going to commit. Boxes might not be enough to save ZY, so he has to burn Flash instead. The Pillar of Filth does force the tanks into the bullet time coming out of Miniman, but it's going to actually have to be a dangerous situation. Great shockwave throws Miniman, he has to flash out, doesn't matter, Zoot's able to find that kill, Death Sentence is able to catch Ubisoft on the backside, and the damage from Big Herf is enough to pop his passive. Thomas Shen, he's in the middle of everything, he's low, but no one can seem to get to him as Forward steps forward and is able to keep the zone alive. Big Herc trying to do what he can to put this fish down, and in the end, Tom Kench does get flayed. Rift Herald's going to be dropped in the middle of everything in this fight, and it's only a 1-for-1 at the moment, or is it, as Katu gets caught and goes down? Zoot finds that kill. Rift Herald making its way towards the bot lane, intercepted by Big Herc, but still should be able to get that charge off as the rest of Sydney goes to the mid lane.
Yeah, that was a very broken fight, a very weird fight. Herald effectively being wasted there, unfortunately, unable to get anything done. I think the time was about to run out.
Pharaoh? Oh, that could have been disastrous right there, but is able to get out of it, as now actually it could be Sydney in a bit of trouble as Big Herc is leading the charge. Thomas Shen has that movement speed and is able to keep running away, dropping the ward to make sure they aren't chased.
Yeah, really good flash from Zoot at the end of this fight to secure the kill onto Katu. The bullet time did so much damage, you know, deleting him. But look at the Thresh on the backline, though, landing every hook, keeping Big Herc safe. Every time someone tries to push up, there's a flay, there's a hook, there's something stopping them from getting onto him. And a lot of work being done there by Big Herc, and that's what we were talking about with, you know, the Rise, you know, getting that free farm, like we mentioned. There's the flash, there's the kill onto Katu, and there's the tower that they get in the mid lane.
Meanwhile, though, we might not be done with the action, as yet another Dragon is probably going to be fought over at this stage. Griffith University, they're going to try and find their way in, but Sydney, they have a lock on it. They're sitting on that ward as well, so not a lot of vision for Griffith University. It'd be a pretty blind fight and attempt. I'm not sure that it's a wise idea to go for it, and I think Griffith realizes the same as they start to back off. ZY was sticking around. Maybe he could have got something, but decides against it. Keep the split push going. Big Herc up top, going to try and shove those waves, try and punish that Dragon take, but University of Sydney get a nice neutral objective for them.
Yeah, I think ZY, you know, we've all done it a couple of times, Thresh hook steals on objectives, but it is so much harder to do than literally just accepting, like, hey, we just have to sack the Dragon. It's not the end of the world. We've both got an Ocean Drake. It's just effectively going to counter each other out. So I think that overall, USYD is still in a good position. Like we've said this before, we're reaching that 25-minute mark, and USYD is ahead. Their carries, as in Zoot, you know, Thomas, they're all ahead substantially over their opponents. Yes, Big Herc has got a lot of damage on him, and he's scaling hard, but I don't think that's going to be enough at the end of the day to defeat this USYD team.
I mean, you still need to be careful of it, though. Like, I don't want to downplay Big Herc in this one. He has already Flame Horizoned Coach Ricky, which is a little awkward for Coach, I'm not going to lie. You don't want to fall 100 CS behind ever, especially not in an important game like this. But fortunately for the Coach, you know, other lanes have been going his way. A Slingshot, not going to connect on one. There was no one waiting in that bush. That does mean Sydney's going to go ahead, get some more vision around this Baron. That's going to be that next major objective, and Sydney does not want to get caught backdoored, similarly to what their big rivals in the standing Swinburne was earlier in the day. Abyssal Voyage coming through. It's heading to the bot lane. They think they have a catch onto Pharaoh, as my screen has unfortunately frozen at a rough time as we come back. It doesn't look like anyone has died just yet before. It is quite low. That said, Pharaoh has had to go golden. A big flank from Thomas Shen helps secure a kill onto Pharaoh, who does go down. Zoot is accredited to that kill, and with that pick, Sydney will back away.
Yeah, Sydney's going to back away, maybe try and get some Baron control, some vision, get the crab, but that was a very bizarre fight again. Again, a lot of weird picks coming out, mostly being started by Ubisoft. You know, he's going for those aggressive, proactive jumps, and it's good to see. You know,
when do you
they know they're reaching that point. They know they're reaching that point where they can start to try and pick off people. Big Herc is the one real threat, really, to their team. Like we said, the Misfortune only has a one item. So the bullet time, yes, is going to hurt, but it's not going to be the end of the world for them. Whereas Big Herc is going to do a lot of damage very quickly. So they need to be very careful with him.
I'm still waiting to see when someone actually steps up and bans the Zac, though, from Ubisoft, because this has happened in time and time again. This proactive Zac has just been so hard for teams to deal with. He's been getting picked so often. This time working with the Zoot instead of Xarnos, but it's still working to that same effect. I'm a little worried that the Orianna might lose some of that late game carry potential, especially against the likes of Arise, who has picked up that Banshee's Veil. So more protection for Big Herc, as soon we will be seeing that machine gunners go to town. It's got to happen sooner than later, though, because University of Sydney, they're continuing to knock on doors. They're slowly continuing to scale. We're still kind of waiting for that second completed item out of Rikai, who has been put kind of far back in this one. But Senna's still looking good. Zoot's looking very good. And this window eventually will shut for the Griffith side.
Yeah, the Griffith side has, they've opened up the door a little bit. They've got some, they've cracked it slightly, but it's slowly closing for them. The benefit they have is they have pretty good wave clear, as it looks like they... Nah. I thought they were about to start up the Baron there, force a Baron fight, but it looks like they're just going to try take out the Vision and maybe go for a Baron fight, or at least force them to have a look.
Yeah, I mean, you get that Vision. I think it's a little too risky right now to really commit to the Baron again until you get some sort of pick, as at the moment, Sydney, they're still looking for it. They're kind of stepping up into the jungle, trying to get some more of that Vision. Not going to find too much just yet, as the push down the middle will continue for the Sydney side, continuing to play their lanes. Unfortunately, Rikai has been sent back to try and quell the bleeding of Big Herc, because it's really not going his way. Ubisoft, though, thinks he has a pick. He's on to Katu, but the damage isn't quite there. The Death Sense pulling Ubisoft back. His passive is popped, and there's not much Sydney can do. They're going to have to let this one go, as Big Herc did roam up to try and join the fight. So Ubisoft, sometimes a little too aggressive, can get punished.
Yeah, really smart positioning by Katu there, actually opting, instead of walking back behind his tower, walked into the bush, knowing that that was his Ubisoft's only option, or that Ubisoft might try and take that option. Forcing him to ult early, as we're going to have the next dragon coming up in 6 seconds, but we have Griffith on the Baron.
Yeah, more importantly, jungler down. Let's rush this Baron. And Sydney, they still might actually contest this one. They keep the Vision on it. Thompson, you can see he's just trying to buy time. They're trying to delay for it. Baron's down to about a quarter. Shockwave only catches one, but it is ZY. Bullet time is going to force the rest of Sydney back, but a great Death Sense pulls forward back into said Bullet time, and they get yet another pick. Content with that, Griffith University going to back away.
That was nearly like a 4-man Shockwave. If that landed slightly further to the left, that was going to be disgusting, as it looks like they're going to go straight back onto the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? The rest of University of Sydney, they're committing to the Dragon, and this will be a Baron going Griffith's way. Now, Sydney should be aware of it. They did have the control ward there, and they're actually going to try and stop it, but it's going to be too little too late. The Baron's already gone. They've given up the Dragon as well, and Sydney get nothing.
If Sydney was there to contest that, they potentially could have got that. That was a miss-smite by Pharaoh. That was a potential steal if USYD was there. They're still going to get this dragon. All this does, I think, is this gives Griffith the opportunity to try and force some lanes down. USYD are still very strong, so I think this is definitely a good opportunity for Griffith to try and get themselves back in this game. Try to get some picks, get some... open the gates a little bit on the USYD base, and maybe, just maybe, if they can keep winning some team fights, they might be able to accentuate their lead way further than they should be able to.
Yeah, that's going to be their goal, I would have to think, and it's something that they're going to need to do now. Again, this Rise, Big Herc, he is still just powering through this game. Like, his gold lead is monumental, and that's what Griffith University need to play around. Unfortunately, we haven't really seen that translate into too much sideline presence, as all of those tier 2s are still standing for Sydney, as Sydney has just been putting so much pressure everywhere else, as Pharaoh again going to be the target of an Ubisoft flank, and he gets thrown back into the team. The bullet time, though, used quite well to zone Sydney off. It did force Big Herc back into the fight with everyone else, however, and that's sort of just been the answer to this Rise split push, is just forcing these fights, not letting them establish anything on the sidelines, and they just got rid of a very important teleport.
Yeah, but you see, that's also the joy of a Thresh. The Thresh just throws the lantern out, stands at the back of the fight. The second that 60's over, boom, safe. So that's the real strength of that character right there coming into effect. as that was effectively a free kill. The bullet time zoning him off, and the lantern giving them the safety to be able to peel back, as what looked like a bad fight actually ended in a mid lane tower taken down for Griffith.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of a rough one, I would have to think, for this Griffith side. I mean, they do get the tower back. They would have liked to have turned that around to a kill, considering that they expelled 2 teleports on that play. But they did keep themselves alive. They did, you know, stop Sydney from really starting to push that advantage. And this game's starting to stall out a bit, actually. This has been the slowest paced game so far, considering the team comps. It's not too surprising. However, you know, this next Baron, I think, is going to be quite critical for each of these teams. And that's where we could see this first big explosive fight where this game can, you know, really open up one way or the other.
Yeah, I definitely think that's going to be a big one, especially seeing as how close together they are in terms of respawn. We're going to be getting the 3 minutes 20 on the Baron, 3:40-ish on the Dreg. If USYD can get both of them, it's pretty well game over. If they can get the Soul, which will give them that massive regen, and get the Baron buff, I think that Griffith is going to have a very, very hard time cracking that. That being said, if Griffith is able to get another Cloud Drake, not Cloud, which is Cloud, another Ocean Drake, get that regen going, you know, stalling out the Soul a little bit longer, and they can get the Baron, then USYD is going to be in a very scary spot. So either way, these next 3-4 minutes are going to be really important for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially in 2 minutes, or maybe a bit before that, Udysoft already looking for a play. Does get hit by the Death Sense. That was a great play from ZY to stop that elastic slingshot, and that really was the last chance I feel for Sydney to really go for a play like that if you're going to look at death timers based on when the Dragon Soul is going to be back up. Anyone who gets caught out now might be out of position for that fight, and that does mean usually we'll see people play a bit more passively unless they see that 100% guaranteed play, and that might come from one Rikai who's looking to possibly cut off Katu, who is on his own without teleport and no vision. Will they be able to get there in time? Meanwhile, on the other side, though, that did leave kind of mid lane explode. Katu and Rikai are going at it. Here comes the slingshot. It does not connect. It's a nice sidestep. Does keep Katu safe, and as a result for going to that play, they did give up mid priority. They also left Big Herc on his own, alone in the bot side, and now the split push from Griffith might actually start to punish the Sydney side.
Katu just breaking ankles in the top lane there, dodging everything, forcing the flash out from Ricky or Rikai to get the twisted advance to confirm the stun. But really, really good by Katu there, pulling 2 players out from the team fight and forcing USYD to try and defend underprepared and undermanned.
Following through from that as well, now you can see both teams have opted to reset, however, before this next Dragon fight, and that actually is a little beneficial for Sydney because it does mean that the lane's going to reset, and they're in a better position now to challenge that Dragon. I actually would have liked to see Griffith really ensure that the waves are pushing more in their favor. Similarly, Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. That teleport, it looks like they're not going to be available just yet for Griffith, and Big Herc is still on the top side. I think it actually will get there just in time, so fortunately that is timed pretty fortuitously for Griffith, as the longer this Dragon is stalled out, the more pressure Big Herc can put on the top side of the map. However, Sydney, I think, aware of that, they're trying to force something now. They go after ZY, but they don't want to dive too deep for it. Dragon now spawning, letting out that roar. If Sydney gets it, that Ocean Drake just means the ability to turtle, the ability to scale gets exemplified tenfold as they start the Dragon up. Keep your eyes on Big Herc. He's already teleporting to the bot lane to join the fight, but Sydney are aware. They see he is teleporting into the wave, and actually they're looking to turn onto Big Herc. In goes Udysoft, and they've got so much damage on him already. The defensive flash from Big Herc is not going to be enough. The big blast coming from Thomas Shen helps Rikai secure the kill on the damage dealer. Yes, they give up the Dragon 4, but that's definitely the character you want to take out. As Zoot leading the charge, they want to continue this fight. The Abyssal Boy is trying to cut off members, forces the flash out of ZY. A Pillar of Filth is not used just yet, as Miniman is the one who Udysoft was after. Instead, flashes board ZY. Bullet time is only hitting the front line and is not doing that much damage. ZY is in a world of hurt as the rest of Sydney start to catapult and surround him. He will go down. 2 kills picked for Sydney. They're pinging Baron. That could be the fight this red side needed.
That is the fight that USYD were begging to happen and that Griffith were, like, loathing. A really good catch out there, knowing, hey, they're TPing in the bot lane. We don't need the Dragon. We don't need that to win. So we're just going to ignore the Dragon, and we're just going to go on your bot lane, go on your TP, take out those carries, and it's going to be almost impossible for them to contest this Baron, I feel.
I mean, and you know, glory to the big brain that is Rikai. getting that killing blow on the big damage dealer right now from Griffith University. Without Big Herc, really, Sydney has that ability to just run these team fights over. They get the Baron off the back end, but now are they going to be able to push with it? That is going to be the challenge. They've been punished in the past for being a bit too aggressive with how they push and how they've, you know, tried to force fights when they might not necessarily have been there. Baron might be that X factor that they need to really put the nail in the coffin and put this game to bed. It's already been a long one. We're getting close to another 40-minute game. There's still tier 2s available on both teams. It's just been a slog of a game. Neither team willing to like misstep and get caught out and get too punished, but maybe that Baron might be what breaks it open.
Yeah, pretty much up until now, it's been very, very hard to see an advantage being made, but right now, that fight, we're seeing why USYD's team comp is at the slight advantage. That being said, we have to respect the fact that Big Herc is a scaling champion. You know, Victor is also scaling. They don't mind going this long, but...
Oh boy, this could be the play up top lane. The Shockwave used on its own. Zoot kind of whiffed it completely, and the bullet time actually does damage to the backside. However, Katu is already taken quite low, and Udisoft is in his face. Zoot is able to secure that kill, but the tower forces the backline of University Sydney away, and it leaves forward on his own, caught up within Griffith. A very ugly fight punishes the Sydney side, and Griffith, yes, they lose one, but they get two in response.
Yeah, no, that was a really unfortunate fight for them, losing out the support and the top laner there. That was an unnecessary fight that did not need to happen. That could have gone incredibly differently if you didn't have a self-ulti from the biggest carry on their team.
I know, and then the best part of it as well, they didn't juggle the tower aggro as well, so it starts wailing on Thomas Shen. He has to back out of the fight and pour forward, left on his own, probably saying, team, question mark, team, where are you? And the fish goes down, gets flayed yet again. A bit of a disaster, unfortunately, for Sydney. That is not how you want to push your lead when you start to have momentum.
No, and that's 2 Baron buffs down for them, so that's not what they were looking for. They're still going to try push the advantage in the mid lane, but that is not what you wanted to have happen.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, still have Baron on 3, still on the carries. Thomas Shen sitting on it, as well as, I believe, Udisoft and Zoot. So they only... Or no, actually, would it be Rikai, actually? I'm not too sure. The screen tearing down below kind of... There we go. All right. We get it back.
Udisoft, Zoot, and Thomas, I believe, still have the Baron buff.
So it is Udisoft, Zoot, and Thomas. As ZY gets the death sentence onto said Udisoft. They want to get Baron off yet another member, but this Zac is tanky, and those Baron and Power minions are doing too much work in that mid lane, so Griffith cannot commit to the fight as they've already lost that tower. Rikai looking to rejoin his team, looking to rejoin on this push as Sydney are playing this a lot safer. Ultimates are available yet again, at least momentarily. The last one they're waiting for will be on Thomas Shen. Griffith University, there isn't too much they could do to walk into this knuckle. A nice fake on the slingshot in order to keep that distance, get the inhibitor down, and now Sydney, they are looking for that Dragon Soul. That could be that big critical factor, but Udisoft takes a very risky way, has to do a very fast slingshot. Does get the ultimate out of Katu, actually, and that's not going to connect on anyone, and as a result, Sydney, they might try to turn around. They might try to look for this fight. A good positioning of the ball means Griffith cannot step forward to challenge this tower now, as Udisoft sitting on the backline, waiting for the flank. Another tower goes Sydney's way.
I'm waiting for the ball delivery system of Udisoft to land a really good slingshot into the ulti, because that's what we've been missing currently. As well as they've been playing, what we've been missing is the really big Orianna ultis, the game-changing ultis, and that's mostly because they can't, you know, the Ori can't get it in position. With the Zac on her side, or the Maokai, we can see that completely removed and massive. Oh no.
Oh, Pharaoh might be getting caught, and this could be huge. However, Thomas Shen is the one who's stepping forward, using that Edge at Night, deciding not worth the risk. If you lose Thomas Shen, you lose a lot of the damage on this Sydney side. That said, Zootin forward, they've already started that Dragon. Rikai, he's going to do his job to try and zone it off. Death Sentence does not connect as the Blasting Cone was used, and Dragon Soul is secured by Sydney. Super Minions, meanwhile, are in the base of Griffith, so there is no time to rest for either of these teams. It is go, 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 because one wrong misstep will cost you that game. Griffith, they're still hanging on. They still want to topple this undefeated giant, but it feels like the walls are slowly closing in around them.
Yeah, we've reached that 41-minute mark, and at this point, we're getting to that point where the scaling is just going to be way too hard for them to deal with. We have a Baron coming up in a minute, and I think if USYD gets that, I think we're going to see a final push into the base, a team fight, and a collapsing Griffith behind it. So
that could be the case, but on the other side, Big Herc, full build, over 200 farm over Rikai, just on a losing effort currently from his team. Like, that's impressive in and of its own right, but how much of an impact can he have? You have to remember what happened in that big team fight that Sydney won. It was a case of Big Herc teleporting in an awkward spot, as he was nearly caught out again, actually. Fortunately able to back in time, so that was not Big Herc, my apologies, that was Pharaoh. They're each blue, and spoilers behind the scenes, I'm looking at this at a lower resolution than normal, as my screen apparently froze again right before the team fight, because Ubisoft has gone right in. The bullet time not connecting on anyone. ZY in that front line. Big Herc, he's trying to find a way in. Zoot helps secure the kill. Doesn't even use the shockwave to do it, and that's still a big ultimate available, and no support for Griffith University. That Thresh has been the big thorn in the side of a lot of these engages, and with him off the map, that could be the opening Ubisoft needs. You can see Big Herc, he's trying to get some damage down, but it's too risky. You can't step forward against this Sydney side, and with the inhibitor down, with the support on Sydney, they're actually going to go for the Baron.
Yeah, they're going to force Griffith here to come out for the Baron fight, and if they do, I think they're just going to get absolutely shredded here. Yes, Big Herc is available, but at this point, you've seen the damage that they can do. They're shredding this Baron. I think it's over at this point. Griffith would have to have a miracle for this game to turn around.
Yeah, but we've seen missteps from Sydney in the past. It's not like it's been the cleanest game from this red side. It's been a little bit rough, and you cannot deny the impact that if Big Herc can get himself onto Thomas Shen, get himself onto Zoot, he will disintegrate them. There's not a lot of magic resist on either of these champions, as ZY is the target. Again, another great play, sort of stopping that engage from Ubisoft. ZY has been so on point with these plays.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that what we're going to have to see is a very good play, like streak by Z or Zai, and we're going to have to see Big Herc play.
Oh, Death Sentence. That could be the start of it, as Big Herc, he's topped out of the base and actually has to get swallowed to stay alive out of his ultimate. Shockwave immediately obliterates the backline of Griffith, and I think that might have just won the game. Zoot coming up huge. There was the one shot we were waiting for, and now it's only 3 defenders of Griffith left to hold the gates. Sydney, they want to end this one. They want to keep their dreams alive of that undefeated season. Pharaoh is that next target. He doesn't even run away from the slingshot. He holds his ground, and he dies for it. Big Herc, he tries to get to the backline. He does the damage to Thomas Shen, but it's not enough for the kill, as Zoot finds yet another. The next tower will fall, and after nearly 45 minutes, the University of Sydney continue their undefeated reign of terror over this Intervarsity League and move on to 4-0.
You know how we mentioned how we were waiting for that one-shot shockwave?